Alright, this is a new segment I'm going to call Fed Up T2. Today, we're going to talk about diary cams and press junkets. What are these things I'm talking about? Okay, I was just watching Talking Dead, which is a show about Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead currently. And I've been saying on my Twitch streams how this really annoys me. This season, this is a spoiler alert by the way, if you haven't seen Fear the Walking Dead this season, they come across these zombies across the road, and they're all tied together by their guts. Something powerful has cut these zombies open by their guts and tied them together, and they cut their heads off, and they tie their still like alive zombie heads to these tree limbs, and it's like one of the scariest things you've ever seen, right? So you're thinking these must be some real badass motherfuckers that are doing this kind of shit. And here's the spoiler alert: it turns out to be a group of kids. Now, if you don't know much about Walking Dead, they really take the overacting seriously when they're fighting zombies. They make it seem like they can barely pull the knife out in time, and it's hard to stab things, and there's always delay and like lag, it seems like, when they're trying to fight zombies to make it seem like the zombies are more powerful than they are. It's not very good acting, let's say. But they make it seem as though adults have a hard time killing zombies, unless you're Michonne with a katana just slicing their heads off, or you're shooting them. If you're just fighting a zombie with hand-to-hand combat tools, they make it seem like it's real hard. And then all of a sudden they jump the shark with these kids that are tying zombies together by their guts. How? I have no idea. So I went on this Talking Dead show. I'm thinking they're going to talk about this. They have to. And then I realized the show is also on AMC. So Chris Hardwick is supposed to be a comedian. I figured he would have to be like a third person and make fun of it, but he can't because it's on AMC, so he doesn't even bring it up, I don't think. He might have brought it up on an earlier show, but I don't think he did, because that would hurt the brand or whatever. They spend all their time talking about like the relationships of the characters, and it really gets cringy. It reminds me of these like teenage girls that they have this new thing now that they call things shipping, when you like see people in a relationship together. I see this in webtoons a lot with these anime fans, these little girls. Talking about all the characters, shipping this character with this character, and who gives? It's like a bunch of fan fiction bullshit. So that's all this show is. It's like a big diary cam. If you don't know what a diary cam is, here's an example of a diary cam. You see this on like Naked and Afraid a lot, and all these reality shows where they're doing something interesting will happen, and they'll cut away to like they go into a private booth or a room, and they make a little diary entry to the cameraman or whatever, and like explain what just happened. So here's a really extreme example of it. This is the show Spell Slingers, which is a YouTube show with Day 9, and all they're doing is playing cards. Like, watch this.
Controls and put a hit counter on that card. That player loses the game if they own 3 or more exiled cards with hit counters on them. Etrata's owner shuffles Etrata into their library.
Allison is on some sort of god draw, okay? If all she draws is land and surveil cards for the rest of the game, I'm 99% going to lose, and now Etrata's here with a whole brand new win condition for her to explore.
She's an unbeatable...
So are they going like between... They're playing cards. Like in between every drawing of a card, you're walking away from the table and doing a diary cam?
Assassin. And everyone's cast to type a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when you hit on the Demir, I was like, oh, it makes sense. Yeah.
I love Etrata. Can we just? She's my homie. Like, if I were...
See, this kind of shit right here, it really grinds my gears. Like, it's so weird, like, these diary cams, right? So, the Talking Dead show is like a big diary cam for The Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead. And I think they also did, like, a Breaking Bad show, and maybe another show that they were talking about after the show. And this is the point. There's a thing in movie making and TV direction that's called the suspension of disbelief. This is one of the reasons why people will choose a unknown actor to be in a show that you've never seen before, because it helps you suspend your disbelief. If you see somebody like Tom Cruise or like Brad Pitt or somebody, you're going to know that they're an actor a lot easier because they're more famous. You've seen them in other things. So you want to pick somebody that nobody's ever seen before, and it helps suspend their disbelief and take them into a place where they can kind of imagine this is actually going on and being real. Now, if you're doing a show right after a zombie show, and you're showing behind the scenes, like here's how the airplane crash was filmed, and they're on these hydraulic lifts, and here's how the zombie makeup works, and here's all the special effects, here's how all that was, and you're interviewing a guy that, oh yeah, I played the zombie in this episode, and here's how I was walking, nah. And you got all these characters talking about, like, you got Negan talking to, like, the regular people, like, you just watched him, like, he's, like, the scariest dude in the show, like, you're supposed to be afraid of him, and now you're all sitting there, and they all have British accents. Like, every actor on these shows is British doing an American accent. Like, it just blows your mind. Like, how am I supposed to believe any of this in the show if you're showing me all of it's fake right afterwards and you're interviewing people? So then, like, one of the biggest things on right now is Stranger Things 3, Season 3, right? So check this out. If you look up Stranger Things cast on YouTube, immediately after the season drops on Netflix, what we got? Stranger Things cast finds out which characters they really are. BuzzFeed celeb. 10 strict rules the cast of Stranger Things must follow. Stranger Things on Jimmy Kimmel. Stranger Things answer the web's most searched questions. Wired magazine. Stranger Things cast Gaten Matarazzo and Maya Hawke break down the scene shot by shot. There's a bunch of Netflix promoted things. These are all like promotions. I mean, they need it to get more views, I guess, because the more videos they're in, the more money they make. But then it kind of undoes all the hard work you just did that make us suspend our disbelief when we're enjoying the show. We can't enjoy the show now because you put all these actors in all these videos and you see their real life and what they're like and stuff. Look, I don't want to know their real life. They're actors. I'm supposed to be believing their characters are real. Look at all these. There's like a ton of these videos. And if you click on one of these, if you watch one of these, you're going to like be recommended shitloads of them or you can hardly get away from it. Look at this one. Stranger Things Gaten Matarazzo takes a lie detector test. Why? Why would we care what he fucking wants to lie about or not? He's just a character in a show. First We Feast. Caleb and Gaten play Truth or Dab on Hot Ones. They've been on literally every show in the last couple of weeks. Teen Vogue, Stars Cove. They're just like, who would you be if you took a stupid internet quiz? Now this has also gone on recently with the Avengers. Look at this. Cast of Avengers. Endgame tries to survive Thanos' snap. It's a dumb BuzzFeed game somebody made. Wired magazine. Again, answer the web's most Googled Marvel questions. Play Name That Avenger on MTV. And a lot of this was like the cast. They analyzed it about how they are like against Brie Larson because she's like the most powerful Captain Marvel or whatever, and everybody's like freaking out because she's ultra feminist and stuff. Jimmy Kimmel, Spider-Man cast on spoilers and Avengers Endgame. And like a lot of this stuff, like here's another one. Game of Thrones. When they had season 8 of Game of Thrones, they couldn't talk about anything because it was so much like a big spoiler alert thing. Nobody wanted to release any of the info early. So they were sending out like fake like leaks. And there's like a lot of, look at this, Game of Thrones cast respond to IGN comments. Why? Reacting to petitions to like redo season 8. Funniest Game of Thrones interviews. Jimmy Kimmel again. I mean, these press junkets where they send out all these people to be interviewed, like the guy that plays Iron Man, you don't see him a lot because he's kind of like too famous for it. He kind of like gets out of it. Emilia Clarke, oh man, she's done a lot of crap where she's like doing a bunch of stupid shit in these videos. I don't know why there's a bare ass on that one. I probably shouldn't be showing that. But that's what really grinds my gears, especially with the zombie shit. If you're gonna believe there's zombies, you can't be showing people putting on the zombie mask right afterwards and then just having the characters talk about how they were in this scene and their British accents and just taking you completely out of the mood. That's capitalism. This is what's wrong with capitalism, because you got to make the money, but in order to make good money, you got to ruin the product you just made.